All right, we're finally on value. Value is another one of our very important elements of art. Value helps us to see where there is light and where there is not. It creates depth, it creates space in our artwork, it turns our shapes into forms. I'm going to start off by using regular shading, which is one of the most common techniques. Here, I'm going to create the value by using pressure with my hand. When you're shading, you want it to look smooth. You want to try to shade in one direction as much as possible. There will be some times where you might need to change directions, but if you use your pencil in little tiny circles and make sure you're blending all of the particles together, it will look more smooth. As you get lighter on your value scale, you're just going to release some of that pressure that you're putting on your pencil. When I'm shading, I'm using my thumb to apply the pressure to the pencil. I have my pencil resting on my middle finger. Also, it is important that you keep your hand further back so you can see what you're doing. I know we've all done this. We've used our fingers to kind of smear our pencil to make it look smooth. We're going to use a tissue, or you can use a blending stump. We have oils in our hands, and if you put your fingers on your paper, you're going to transfer that oil from your hand onto your paper, and it eventually looks splotty. It's really hard to erase when that happens too, because you're going to leave dark marks. To convert this shape into a form, we're going to use shading. Be sure to cover parts of your paper with another paper so that your hand doesn't transfer the graphite that you've already shaded. When you're shading something round, you need to make sure that you're curving your shading marks in order to create the illusion of roundness. I'm going to be shading dark to light, and I'm going to be going with the perimeter of the circle, kind of creating like a C shape until I get towards the middle. Be sure you're paying attention to where your light source is coming from so that you're putting the dark on the proper side. In this case, my sun is to the left. Where the light is coming from, I'm making sure that I'm keeping it really bright, even erasing some of the lines, so that it will create an implied line. When you're shading, you want to hide all of your transitions from one value to the next. You want to make it as smooth as possible. When shading the cylinder, you want to make sure that you're also curving, just like we did with the sphere. For your cube, you want to not curve your lines and you want to have a nice smooth surface so that you cannot see your transitions, so that it looks nice and solid. There are several different techniques that artists use to create value. Shading is just one of them. There's shading, hatching, which is where you create lines going one direction. The closer your lines are together, the darker it looks. There's cross-hatching, where you create your lines going one direction and then you cross over them going another direction. You can scribble, and when your scribbles are closer together, it looks darker, and as they get further apart, they get lighter. And then there's stippling, where you create dots. The closer the dots are together, the darker it looks, and the further apart the dots are, and the fewer dots there are, it looks lighter.